Direct from Foxborough, Massachusetts, the gem of Norfolk County, and taped at the studios of Foxborough Cable Access. It's Foxborough Central.
Welcome to another great episode of Foxborough Central. My name is Bob Hickey, just as you heard the man say. And I'm so glad that you've taken a little bit of time to join me and my guests as we talk about the people, events, and organizations that make Foxborough truly the gem of Norfolk County. And today we're going to talk about some people, but not necessarily the people, but we're going to talk about some special people who I know have known along, as you have, through the years, and some things that they do that are a little bit different. I'm, of course, talking about Steve and Cindy. Steve, Drew.
Hey, Bob.
And Cindy had a Drew.
Thanks for having us.
I'm so glad that you've taken the time to join me and share not something that's unique, but certainly something that is a little bit different, and how you approach maybe not necessarily life, but certainly eating and cooking. And I'm talking about, and correct me if I'm wrong, but this is a vegan lifestyle.
Correct. Absolutely.
Is that the correct term?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to talk a little vegan cooking, a little vegan lifestyle, and we're hopefully going to maybe dispel a few myths and come to an understanding, at least for me, that vegan isn't and make me lose so much weight that I can't function. Is that going to be true? Because I see you both look very healthy and obviously are functioning, so there must be something positive in the vegan that I don't know about, but maybe you'll educate me today.
Well, I hope so.
That'll make it a good program.
That
if we
would
can
make
do
it
that.
a great program.
All right, first of all, let's get to the goal, and then we'll work our way through it. What is the goal today? What are we cooking?
This morning we're going to cook what's called a French scramble.
A French scramble.
So for most people, if they see it, looking at it, would look like, an omelet, scrambled eggs.
Okay. I like omelets.
It's very, very yummy.
Crack 3 eggs, lots of cheese, lots of good stuff like that.
But all without that.
Good for my cholesterol.
Very
Absolutely.
good. That's the whole idea.
So yeah. But we're going to start with something different. So we're not going to be using any eggs or any cheese.
No eggs?
No eggs. No cheese.
So we're really doing vegan, huh?
We are.
All right, here we go. Well, hi, this is Bob Hickey. I'm going to be eating a vegan breakfast for probably the first time in my life, so let's have at it.
Well, I'd be surprised if this would be the first time in your life.
Oh, I wouldn't be so surprised.
Have you ever had a bagel?
I have had a bagel.
For breakfast?
Yes.
With no cream cheese on it?
Yes. With honey.
Well, you're almost vegan on that one.
Okay.
The honey is questionable.
Quick question then, what defines vegan?
Vegan is a diet that consists of anything that does not have an association to an animal product. So where a bee is something that's a living organism.
A bee is an animal, yes.
An animal,
We all
an
love
insect,
bees,
or whatever.
we need the bees.
They make the honey. How they make the honey is one thing. Is it raw? Is it organic? How is it farmed? Is one of the questions. So there's some people that are straight down the line, absolutely nothing that comes from an animal. That would be up to and including, in my industry, pearls.
Oh, interesting.
So,
and of course, Cindy, you are the owner of Cindy's
Diamond and Jewelry Gallery.
Right here on Central Street in Foxborough.
Yeah.
Not that this is a plug, but I am never afraid to give a plug to people who come out and are really a part of our community, because you and Steve, I've come to know you over the years through many different volunteer and business things, but primarily you're the face of Foxborough Founders Day these days. And you're always front and center in the 6 months leading up to and day of, and then the cleanup the morning after. So
it's us and a whole slew of other people that are right out there helping us every single day. So.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so, there's so many good things that you do for the community that this is a little bit of a different opportunity for me, so I'm learning. So vegan, if there's a quick way to give a definition to what is something that would not be vegan, it would be anything that
comes from an animal.
Okay.
And anything.
Anything.
Including something as simple as chicken stock, butter, cheese, milk, chicken, beef, turkey, salmon.
All right. Well, I'm going to need some convincing. Lobster. I'm going to need some convincing. So here we go.
All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start first by getting all the ingredients ready. We're going to do a French scramble, vegan French scramble, which is going to use tofu.
Tofu.
So in order to prepare the tofu, we need to get it dried out.
Okay.
So
and everybody knows that tofu comes from
soy,
which
is a soy product.
Which is a plant?
It is.
All right.
It is.
This doesn't look like any plant I've ever seen, though.
No.
Didn't grow that way.
So how do we dry it out?
So we use a cotton towel. Sometimes you can use paper towels. We bought these towels specifically. All we do with these towels is dry out our tofu.
Okay.
We don't use them for washing our hands. We don't use them for cleaning the dishes or mopping the floor. And this is just for
Just
this.
tofu. Okay.
Yep.
Well, that would make sense since it's part of the cooking. You can't exactly put in the dishwasher, so this is what it's for. Okay.
Right. And so while I'm doing this, Steve is going to chop up the scallions.
I'll get on that.
Scallions that you can find in any market.
Right.
Are there, all right, so as we get into the discussion about vegan, is there a special type of designation or something you're looking for with your vegetables? Should they be certified? Should they be organic? Or is it just the fact that they don't come from an animal that makes them okay?
Well, you know, some things are are local. That's what I prefer to do, is get something as close to here as possible because it's fresher. But then there's things that aren't available in this region. So we have to get some products that aren't grown, you know, in Foxborough or in New England. And we try to, like, the one thing that I look for is non-GMO, which is non-genetically modified. So just because I want something that's in its purest state.
Okay.
There's a couple
Are they hard to find?
No, but there's a couple of arguments on that. You know, how important is it? And
so what we have here is you've dried out the tofu, and it seems magically dry, whereas before it seemed rather slimy. And I use slimy in a positive sense of the term, but that's what it appeared to me.
Yep.
And you can even see in here that there's a bit of liquid that had come off of it after you took it out of the packaging. So that little bit of patting down took care of the moisture content.
exactly.
Okay.
And really all it does is it makes it easier to cook it. We could have left the water in it, but it would have taken a lot longer to cook it. Sometimes we cut it in strips and we fry it and or saute it. And what we do is,
Let me move this up here so that way the folks can see.
okay,
And then we will move that back when there's time.
sure.
Through the magic of television, we can do anything here. All right. And I'm going to put this over on the side. And so you're mashing the tofu,
Yep.
but you can also slice it,
You can.
which I think I knew because tofu is used in many different foods that probably people don't even realize. But I think the place I was most surprised to find it was in my hot and sour soup that I would get from the local Chinese restaurant on those post-New England Patriot victories that we all enjoy.
Oh, yeah.
So what you're doing is what?
Basically, I'm just breaking it up.
Okay.
This way, when I go to mix in the other ingredients, they'll have more coverage. They'll get into more of the tofu so that you get all of the spices and everything else will incorporate into the entire dish.
So essentially the tofu is the replacement for the eggs, which make up the bulk of what the omelet is.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that are vegan that were once meat eaters that have a hard time not being able to eat what they really loved. Like for me, I used to eat on a regular basis 2 eggs over easy with toast and sausage, because I love sausage, and everything that went along with that kind of milk, you know, coffee and cream in my coffee and
The
stuff like that.
typical all-American breakfast.
So,
absolutely.
For me, switching wasn't that difficult, and I didn't really need a lot of replacements to replace the things that I loved. But some people need a substitute. So, like this would substitute eggs in this case. In other cases where it's cut up and it's fried, it could be a substitute for chicken, or it could be a substitute for meat, and it can be marinated in like teriyaki sauce, so it takes on that flavor as well.
So tofu pretty much absorbs. It can take on the
Well,
body of whatever it is that you're. And when I say it's replacing the eggs, of course, that's my understanding, my way of of sort of rationalizing, if you will, a traditional omelet. How does this become a traditional omelet? So I understand what you're saying, that it's not necessarily a replacement for, but if you need to equate it with, then this becomes that. So
Exactly.
Okay, good. All right. So what is our next step? And then I'm going to ask you, how do we even start down this vegan path? But let's go with the next step first.
All right, so the next step is that I'm going to incorporate the scallions that Steve.
It's a good thing that we all washed our hands beforehand so that I can do this. And
That's right.
there we go.
Thank you.
Well, it smells good, that's for sure.
Yeah. And so we need our garlic. So we have
This is what kind of garlic?
minced garlic.
Is there any such thing as vegan garlic? All garlic is
all
vegan.
garlic is
because
vegan.
there's no eyes on it.
That's
Okay, all right,
right.
I'm figuring this out.
No eyes and no mother.
I
is what was-
apologize for asking silly questions, folks, but that's perhaps my role. I
Hey,
don't know.
Bob, can you get me the nutritional yeast, please?
The nutritional yeast. Well, speaking of silly questions, I want to ask one for right now. What is the difference between nutritional yeast and regular yeast?
Well, this will not make your bread rise.
Okay, well, that's number one. Here's your nutritional yeast.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And I know that because it says on the label, which isn't our label, nutritional yeast. So how do we come to have nutritional yeast? What is it, and why is it in a mason jar?
Well, this is how I keep it.
Okay.
You can buy it in tubs, you can buy it in bulk. You know, you can go to some of the nutritional stores and you get those big containers that you put it
Are
in
you
a
talking
bag.
about a GNC, or are you talking
Well, like
about
a Whole Foods or some of the nutrition stores that are in remote locations. There's none, like really close to here. There's one in North Attleboro, there's one in Seekonk, and they have bins and with a little scoop.
I was in the North End a couple weeks ago and came through some stores that had bins of
Maybe rice or oatmeal.
everything, spices and that sort of thing.
Exactly.
So, okay.
Thank you.
Sure. But you probably can't get this at, say, Stop and Shop.
I have yet to find it at Stop and Shop.
Okay.
There's some things that you can get there that weren't there before. They have a good organic section just when you go in onto the left. So some of that stuff might be making its way in there. You know, I suppose if more people are asking for it, because I'm not the only one in town that eats a vegan diet.
Okay.
So, you know, and we'll
Are
go
they
shopping.
protecting their names for the protect the innocent or the guilty? Is there a secret enclave and you all gather together at St.?
It would be fun if we did, if we had more
No
time to
support
be able to
group,
do
no
that.
Swap some good recipes, you know?
Is there a Facebook group? Is there any way that people connect with each other?
There is actually, yeah. And then there's some great websites, vegweb.com.
Say that again?
Vegweb.
Vegweb.com.
Vegweb.com, where you can get some great recipes and stuff like that. But, you know, and other support groups, educations that you can get more information.
And of course, if you're watching this, you can also log back on to fcatv.org. Click on the videos link, click on the Foxborough Central link, and you can find this episode again if you miss any of the good information we have here. So,
And can I have the liquid amino acids, please?
you can have them if I can find them. Liquid amino acids. Hi, my name is Bob Hickey, and I have liquid amino acids. May I ask you, why am I giving you liquid amino, which says it is a natural soy sauce alternative? So they're labeled in such a way to educate. Okay. It's not a secret.
No, and you can get this at Stop and Shop. You can get this at Whole Foods. Probably even Shaw's has it.
Okay.
And it is a great substitute for soy sauce, but it has a few more nutrients in it,
Okay.
which is why I like it.
I see. Now, if you're making this is all by a recipe, and this recipe you found from where?
Well,
Vegweb.com, or is this?
no, you know, this particular recipe I found and have modified, but I found in the Skinny Bitch in the Kitch book.
Skinny Bitch in the Kitch.
Yes.
We can say that even though it's not 10 p.m. at home. And but would there by any chance be a Skinny Bastard book for you?
There would be, yes, yep.
Really?
Yeah, there would be.
Well, isn't that something? Okay then. So if we
Something we can equate to a little bit better.
Is this a book that can be found at Amazon.com, or is it?
Yes.
It is.
You can find it at Amazon.com.
And what does this book tell you about?
It tells you about, I'm putting in turmeric right now.
I'll get to the turmeric. I want to know about the skinny bitch, though.
Okay, so the Skinny Bitch and Skinny Bitch in a Kitchen and the Skinny Bastard are all a group of books that were written by two women in New York who were tired of not feeling awesome. And
Well, we all want to feel awesome. So.
and not liking, what was going on in the industry as far as how animals were being
Raised for.
Okay.
raised for food
Food,
consumption.
right.
All right.
So,
as we're sitting here talking, and again, I'm talking with Cindy Drew and Steve, who are working to make a delicious, I would anticipate a delicious, vegan breakfast. It's going to be an omelet. We have added in, and I'm going to go through the recipe also, and we'll have it up at the end so folks can play along at home. But we had a brick of tofu. We had 3 scallions sliced. We had 2 garlic cloves that were minced. We also had, we'll use the Emerald Generous 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast, And she's also put in soy sauce, but it's not soy sauce, it's a liquid amino substitute for soy sauce, which you can get at your local market. And then she also, as we were talking, added in a couple shakes of sea salt, shakes of pepper, and turmeric. And what is turmeric? Is that how you say it? Turmeric?
yeah, turmeric,
Turmeric.
is a root vegetable. It's kind
wait,
of
wait,
like,
Wait, this is the exciting part. She's turning on the griddle.
I'm learning how
And
to
of course,
use this.
we use an induction hot plate here at Foxborough Cable Access, as you know, who are fans of this show and have watched us have previous episodes on Studio K, including that other wonderful program, Cooking with Mike DeMasi.
May I have mushrooms, please?
Mushrooms. We're allowed to have mushrooms?
Yes, we may have
All right,
mushrooms.
because there's no eyes.
That's right.
All right, I'm learning. Slowly, but I'm learning.
All right, so we're going to put in not all of this. So there we
I
go.
like mushrooms.
Good.
So anyway, turmeric, sorry.
Turmeric.
Turmeric.
Yep, turmeric is a root vegetable, kind of like,
You can get it at the spice aisle?
Ginger.
ginger.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like
Okay.
very much like ginger. And it's got great healing properties. It's very good for anti-inflammatory. So if you have something like arthritis or other inflammations in your body, then that would be a great thing to eat every single day.
Really?
Like a teaspoon a day kind of thing. But they also have it in pill form, so you can kind of do it that way. But I like the color it gives, and it does give it a kind of little punch to the, but not quite as strong as like a ginger.
It's not a strong spice, but it has a nice.
It's subtle, but it's got a nice
yes,
flavor to it, right?
Subtle is a great word for
And
it.
then
Steve.
it does have a, it's obviously taken the tofu and made it look more like eggs, give it the yellow color. So,
For those of us who need that, I'm good with
right. Substitute or making it look like eggs. It is
it. Now,
breakfast.
you didn't put butter in there.
No,
What did you put?
so this is one of the modifications to this recipe because it says to cook it with coconut oil, and Steve had been dealing with high cholesterol numbers, and one of the best ways to lower your cholesterol is to lower the amount of fat intake.
Okay.
So no oil. We cook most everything that we do with no oil at all.
No oil.
It might sound difficult.
Does that include olive oil? I guess.
Any oil
Any
at
oils.
all.
Okay.
Yep, olive oil, coconut oil.
So what are we cooking this with?
We're using vegetable stock. And
Vegetable stock, the same way you would buy chicken stock and beef stock at the market.
Yep, or you can make your own.
I noticed that when you make your own. I noticed that when we were coming down here that you have a lot of supplies from Trader Joe's, which is a Foxborough store. Mm-hmm. Always believe in shopping local. Local jewelry, local shopping, Trader Joe's, Stop and Shop.
So the one thing about cooking with the vegetable stock is that it cooks down quickly. So you kind of let it get dry, and then you add some more.
Okay.
Where with the oil, it would stay.
It stays a little bit longer.
Yeah. So you do the same thing, like if you're sautéing onions or any other vegetables that you might need to sauté.
Okay, excellent. How long does this usually take if you don't have Bob Hickey standing next to you talking and yakking away?
10 minutes.
10 minutes. So I've successfully made a 10-minute breakfast take half an hour.
They're a good distraction, Bob.
That's okay.
So those of you at home, don't be intimidated by the vegan thing. It's still a breakfast like any other breakfast. It takes just as long to cook.
But I have all these ingredients too. So I'd say the first week or two of switching our lifestyle over to a vegan lifestyle, instead of taking 20 minutes to go into the supermarket, it took an hour because I was
You had to convert.
reading every label. And that's one of the things about this too, is that you end up reading every label. So now I'm going to add some baby spinach.
Okay. That's a lot. My wife Kathy would be very excited about this. She's a spinach
It looks
lover.
like a lot, right?
But it cooks down.
Better cook down.
I'm sure through the magic of television it will cook down nicely. But spinach does cook down significantly. You've got that loaded with mushrooms and spinach. With the switch over to a vegan lifestyle, how difficult was it to educate yourself on what was vegan? What were the equivalents? Was it, did you have to go to school, take a class?
Well, you know, I actually did. I took a certificate class from Cornell University.
From where?
Cornell.
Okay.
It's an online course, and there's two doctors that are world-renowned, Caldwell B. Esselstyn and T. Colin Campbell. T. Colin Campbell developed this course out of Cornell University and made it so that people who wanted to get a food education, it's a credit course too for anybody that you know, needs continuing ed classes or something like that. And yeah, it's a plant-based nutrition class, so it will teach you, you know, why you should do this, why and what's important about it. One of the things that this type of diet helps with is cancers, diabetes, cholesterol, you know, so heart disease, and lowering, you know, obesity as well as other ailments. And so T. Colin Campbell is the author of the China study, which is, I don't know if you remember the Framingham study that they did several years ago, and it was a cholesterol study that they did right here in Framingham.
I think I'm maybe not representative of your typical American, but I think most Americans try to ignore things like cholesterol and health issues until they really strike home. So I'm not familiar with the study, and I'm glad we're having this program because these are important things that we should not ignore and should be educated on.
Well, Bob, the kickoff for us was actually, Cindy started to mention earlier about the cholesterol. I hit my late 40s and I had that cholesterol gene that kicked in that's genetic, and next thing I know I found myself on one of the statins, one of the drugs that they use to lower your cholesterol level.
Okay.
And because mine had taken off. And used that for a number of years, and then all of a sudden I started feeling really, really crummy. And what happened was I had a reaction to the statins and found out that basically I'm allergic to them at this point in time.
Really?
So, yeah. So
you had high cholesterol, and now you're allergic to the cholesterol medication.
Right, which there is a percentage of us out there that this can happen to.
Well, one of the things Steve was complaining about when he was on the statins is his hips and his ability to walk and the pain and everything else, and he related it completely to that medication.
Right. I made a simple blood test, and they came up with, okay, you need to change. You know, your liver counts are high. So at that point, we had to make some decisions. You know, what can I do to keep the cholesterol down if I can't use the statins that a large cross-section of society uses today? We looked at it and said, well, diet. Where's the cholesterol coming from? And not all of it is. I mean, our body does generate some of it, but we decided to try this as an option instead of the statins, which I could no longer use. And I'm happy to say that, you know, we're about 4.5, 5 years into this now, and I don't take any medications for anything. At the time, I was on some for digestive issues and all the rest of it on the traditional American diet. At this point, I don't use anything.
That's fantastic.
Cholesterol numbers are really good. My doctor's happy. Yeah, it's a lifestyle change, and it's different for a lot of people. A lot of people have a hard time even thinking about trying to eat without meat and dairy and all the rest of it. But I'll be honest with you, it has not been that tough. I mean, we can find some good restaurants around, and grocery shopping isn't that bad either. And to be honest with you, it's a lot cheaper. You know,
Really?
when we go to the market, absolutely. We can walk out with a full carriage of groceries, and it's been a significant drop in the budget at home for our
That is
food bill.
interesting. That is interesting.
And we get a
Yeah.
lot of comments too from the cashiers saying, wow, this is like the healthiest thing I've seen all day.
Yeah. But the good part of it is, I lost a few extra pounds I didn't need to be carrying around at the time.
Well, you're looking healthy, and frankly, I think look
Hey,
at this.
check that out. you
While
know?
we talked,
Yep.
it looks almost.
And so as a nice little side here, we'll do like a little bit of salsa, give it some color.
Oh, I think one of the best things about doing this is this part of the show.
Get to eat.
So this is
It's a French scramble
okay.
made with tofu and spinach, scallions, ginger, mushrooms,
With a little salsa on top.
with a little salsa
All right.
on top.
Folks at home, here it goes. Let's see.
You're
Wow.
still standing. Look at you.
That is delicious. And one of the other best things about this is that people on my crew will get to enjoy some of this afterwards also. Cindy, I cannot tell you how good this is, and thank you so much for taking the time, you and Steve, to come out and share the vegan story and this wonderful, wonderful meal, which really only takes 10 minutes to prepare,
Yeah.
unless you're with me.
Exactly. Oh, it's my pleasure. I'm so glad we could come out and do this.
Well, this is a fantastic looking meal, and Steve, Cindy, I now feel a little bit more in touch with my vegan self, and maybe I won't be so intimidated by it in the future. If people want to learn more about veganism or vegan lifestyle, they can always talk to you, but
Absolutely.
look it up on Facebook or go to
VegWeb.
vegweb.com. On behalf of Steve Drew, Cindy Hatta Drew, I'm Bob Hickey. Foxborough Cable Access thanks you for taking time to watch us as we did a little cooking. And I hope you have a great day, Foxborough. Take care, everybody.